Let's talk about small business outsourcing. I want to give you a full guide to small business outsourcing. The thing is, when you think about small business outsourcing, you're talking about delegating tasks to another party, right? And it doesn't matter if you have a startup, an established business, or a small business, or anything in between, and you want to outsource because you can always outsource actually, no matter which stage your business is at. Okay, outsourcing is not basically, let's say, a company stage thing. It's more about your needs and it's about the value added that you see. Now, what tasks do business owners outsource? If you're a business owner, you are an entrepreneur, you are a one-time entrepreneur or a serial entrepreneur, there are a lot of tasks that you can outsource that will help you save a lot of money. I mean, lots of cash. Okay. The first task I want you to think about here is front desk duties. The front desk duties are really varied. They're very diverse depending on your particular company. But the thing is, hiring a receptionist, for instance, to cover the front desk is a costly decision for small business owners. Think about it. You have to hire someone and you have to really go through the whole process of having somebody full time. But the question is, do you really need do you need a receptionist 24/7? If you have an average salary that goes from 33 to $38,000 annually, you are able to actually save a lot of cash if you were to switch from, let's say, a receptionist to an online receptionist. Let's say a quote unquote a human relationship. I mean, a human receptionist to an online receptionist. Okay, but the thing is, if you have that kind of cash, 33 to 40 grand, having an on-site receptionist is actually out of reach for many small businesses. Even if you had the money, you do not want to really put all your cash into that particular role. So that's why many business owners outsource their front desk duties to third-party providers, okay, instead of hiring full-time. So front desk duties include answering phones, taking and delivering messages, providing basic customer service, and managing appointments and scheduling. So virtual receptionists handle this task remotely or outside of your office, and actually at a fraction of the cost of hiring, let's say, a full-time receptionist. Okay. So how much can you really save? Well, if you go back to the salary of 33 to 40 grand, when you hire, let's say, a virtual receptionist, you can probably just pay 15 to $18,000, and sometimes even less. Okay, it depends on what you want the virtual receptionist to actually do. When you think about small business outsourcing, the another task that you can really outsource really profitably is actually graphic design. So I don't care how small your business is or how big your business is, you're gonna have to really pay attention to branding. You're gonna have to think about branding your business and making sure that you are really conveying to the customer a pretty professional profile. So graphic design is an important aspect of presenting and marketing your small business to your audience. So hiring a full-time designer is not possible for many business owners, however, because you have an average salary of 44 to $50,000. If you hire, let's say, a graphic designer in New York or LA, for instance, New York City or LA, you probably are paying like 50 grand or even more than that. Okay, it depends on how skilled the graphic designer is and the kind of stuff you want the designer to do, really. So the high rates graphic designers charge are not really unwarranted, because after all, it's a very high skilled and difficult work. But outsourcing is the best option for small business owners. They are actually monitoring a stricter budget. Okay, if you have a straight budget, outsourcing the graphic design task can be really good for your business. So while you can search for freelancers to outsource your graphic designs to, it's actually very time consuming and risky. So the best option is working with a trusted provider for your graphic design needs, like let's say a design crowd, for instance, that allows you to outsource your tasks to creative teams all over the globe. Okay, so you are able to really focus on running your business, which is what you need to do anyway. Now, how much can you save? Well, while rates vary based on the type of project, working with a third party provider like Design Crowd instead of hiring a full time graphic designer can save you from 20 grand to 40 grand every single year. I mean, of course, this depends on the kinds of projects you have and how quickly you want the project to be done, and also the complexity of the projects. So, if you think about small business outsourcing, the third task category, I want you to really, let's say, think about outsourcing this year is actually everything that revolves around finances, your finances, okay? Small business finances. So, bookkeeping, for instance, is commonly outsourced because as the business grows, keeping up with the books becomes more and more complex unless you have, let's say, a PhD in accounting or you are a CPA. So, increasing complexity creates a need for a skilled and experienced accountant. But once again, hiring a full-time actually accountant is not cost effective for business owners. So a full-time accountant salary is on average 47 to 55, sometimes $60,000. Now you do have, don't get me wrong though, you do have a freelance accountants. They do exist, right? But sharing your company's financial information with an independent third party is really risky, especially when you have if you are working on processes that need to stay out of the public view. Okay, now you do have also a software that you have software such as QuickBooks or Quicken that's actually built specifically for small business owners. Okay, that allows you to keep a big picture view of your company's finances and tax information. There is no need to waste money hiring full-time accountants for your small business or handing your information over to a freelancer. If you can use QuickBooks, if you can use Quicken's home and business software, if you can use Zero, or let's say even Wave. Okay, those are online accounting resources, so you can really use them no matter where you were at. So because the software puts you in control while reporting important financial factors, possible tax deductions, bills, invoices, profits and losses, personal and business expenses, and more. It's actually the best choice for small business owners that are looking to outsource their bookkeeping to a third party. Now, how much can you really save? Well, basically, if you were to go with regular accounting software, you can probably expect to pay somewhere from let's say $50 to $100 a year. Okay, compared to the cost of hiring a full-time accountant at 47 to $55,000. Okay, so you're really saving a lot of cash. You're saving thousands of dollars if you were to go with the software route versus actually reaching out to versus hiring a full-time accountant. Next, I want you to really think about outsourcing small business customer support. So, if you think about outsourcing tasks for a small business, customer support actually is pretty important. So, the same way you actually outsourced your front desk duties, you might want to think about outsourcing your like, let's say, at the back office duties. Okay, now customer service, technical support, customer support, it goes by many names, but the sentiment is the same. Whether you are the only employee at your small business or simply can't afford to hire a customer service manager, outsourcing your customer support may be one of the best decisions you make actually for your company. Because remember, we are speaking about first impression counts. First impression always counts. I mean, adequate customer service is a lot like terrible customer service. If it's not wowing your clients, it's not doing its job. So you want to steer clear of freelancers when it comes to outsourcing your customer support because they represent quote unquote your company, right? They actually represent the kind of image you want the company to actually convey. So you want to look for consistency as you search for a viable customer support outsourcing provider. And so you want to ensure that the provider works from a verified locations within the contiguous U.S. That's what you want. I mean, you don't want somebody to be in Alaska or maybe Hawaii unless this really fits your business profile. Because when you work in the non-continental U.S., you have to think about the time zone too. Okay, so and you want a provider that offers 24/7 service for your customers. That's really important, especially if you are in an industry that's very competitive. Okay, and so you can have, for instance, companies such as Server Sitters, which provides this type of support for IT companies, while Fresh Desk offers a forum and live help desk services for small businesses of all types. So those are really two companies among others that really can help. If you need more info, let me know. We have a lot of information on that subject. Now, how much can you save? You can really save like literally tens of thousands of dollars. I mean, the average customer service manager salary is about $84,000 to $100,000, while using server sitters for customer support for 1 year will probably cost you $5,000 to $10,000 a year. Okay, that's a potential savings of around 80 to 90 grand per year. That's really, really huge, and it's really fantastic. So if you think about having a small business guide to outsourcing, it's important to understand that you have certain tasks that you want to outsource, but also you want to steer clear of certain common outsourcing mistakes. Let me walk you through those so you have a clear idea how to protect yourself, how to protect your company this year. Now, a lot can go wrong when a small business owner decides to start outsourcing, right? It's one of those things where you are delegating, you are basically entrusting your company's reputation to a third party. So I want to really share with you a few guidelines that you need to follow to avoid making common outsourcing mistakes. So the first thing is that don't go with the first provider you find. Don't go with the first provider you find because, listen, you want to go through the process of trial and error. You want to really do some due diligence to make sure the provider that you find actually is worth it, and also has a process that matches your company's needs. Okay, the first search results you see are there because they are either paid advertisements or pages that rank well for their search terms. So this is more for like a SEO purposes. Okay, neither of this should be taken to mean that they are the best provider to work with, especially if you are in an industry that really is kind of niche. Okay, do your own research to find your outsourcing provider to ensure better results. Okay, the internet is actually one source among other to actually look up to if you're looking for outsourcing providers. Okay, so that's the first thing. Don't go with the first provider that you find. Also, don't discard possibilities due to a planned offerings. In other words, don't think about pricing being the only thing. I mean, many small business owners discard outsourcing possibilities too soon when they don't see a plan that fits their current needs. However, an astonishing number of providers are willing to customize plans to actually fit small business owners' needs. So do not discard actually a provider until you have asked. What I'm trying to say here is that it's just better to ask, to actually first talk about a provider and say, listen, these are my needs. This is what I need. I've seen what you guys provide, but it doesn't really fit what I'm looking for. But these are my needs. Can you really help? And you'll be really surprised at the kind of accommodation, the kind of adaptability. That's the better word. The adaptability they can really have to make sure that they are providing a bespoke solution for your business. Another mistake that I don't want you to do if you are thinking about outsourcing your small business operation, don't really focus too much on price. I mean, price is important. I mean, you have to look at your ROI, your return on investment. You have to think about your bottom line. You have to think about your cash inflows versus cash outflows. You have to make sure that you don't really run a business with a negative cash inflow. That makes sense. But do not prioritize cheap over cost effective. Now, cheap outsourcing providers are very rarely great outsourcing providers. I mean, cost effective services should be the goal, not cheap services. Okay. When I'm speaking about cost effective, I'm talking about you having a value added that's really there. Your ROI is positive. So if you prioritize cheap over cost effective in outsourcing, you will quickly notice the lack of quality in the work you receive, right? I mean, let's say you're looking to pay like dirt cheap, like really, really, really cheap, but you're expecting to have a stellar, okay, or superior service quality. It ain't gonna happen. Okay, you actually get what you pay for. It. Don't forget that you get what you pay for. It. So when it comes to customer service, when it comes to graphic design, when it comes to front desk duties, when it comes to financial support, bookkeeping, and what have you, make sure that you're putting your money where the where quote unquote your mouth really is. You want to really back up the kind of quality you want with the kind of cash you put in that process. Okay, and what I want to say here is that sometimes don't look for far away locations. Like I want to really outsource my operations to freelancers in India, freelancers in Asia, freelancers in Africa, freelancers in those in Latin America because they are usually cheap. Maybe you can find someone in the states. Okay, people are willing to work in the states for a relatively cost effective salary. For example, students who are like graphic design students may not have a lot of experience, but they do not lack the talent. They have the talent. So if you can do a little bit of explanation, they'll be able to give you a good job, okay, and you can pay them a decent salary. You don't have to really break the bank, but you can pay them decent salary. So you can have students in the states, okay, and really reach out to them. So you don't always have to, and the same thing can be applied for accounting. So instead of actually reaching out to, let's say, a bookkeeper somewhere in a faraway land to actually take care of your accounting, you can just reach out to a student in accounting. I mean, he or she doesn't have a bachelor degree in accounting yet, but he or she understands, the basics of bookkeeping and can really help you with basic journal entries. And you can pay that person, you can pay that student $8 or $10 an hour, depending on where you are at. Okay, so that's important to think about it that way. So if you're looking for a small business outsourcing, do not outsource too much too soon. Remember that when you actually outsource, you are divulging part of your business operations to a third party, right? You want to trust that company. You want to make sure the company understands your needs and understands your needs for privacy. Okay, so working with a new outsourcing provider is exciting. Don't get me wrong. And what my team and I have seen is that many business owners are tempted to begin outsourcing all their tasks in that department as soon as they feel confident that the provider is satisfactory. Well, but hey, listen, don't really. I want you to really go slowly. I want you to go slow. Okay, be patient. You want to start slow, adding tasks over time to ensure you do not overwhelm your provider, because your provider, even though he or she provides quality work, if you overwhelm them, they can't really keep up the quality. But you want quality. When it comes to outsourcing, you want to really look at quality because quality is going to help you maintain that efficiency that you really need in your business operations. Also, do not micromanage outsourcing providers. Okay, I mean, micromanaging outsourcing providers is a common error business owners make. You can avoid feeling the need to micromanage your provider by doing heavy research before agreeing to work with your provider, right? You have to trust your provider also. I mean, you have to trust that they know what they're doing. They know what they're talking about. They know the kind of services they presented to you. Okay. If a provider passes muster, you will know they are capable of working independently. That's the key word, right? So when it comes to outsourcing, you have to be able to delegate, and not just delegate in-house, but delegate outside of your business, and trust that the person that you are delegating, the person or party you're delegating the work to, is actually not only apt but also very efficient at getting the job done. And you got to really get to that trust level to make sure that you are actually free and you can really focus on actually running your business. So, in conclusion, in today's conversation, I gave you a small business guide to outsourcing. I talked to you about the tasks that you can outsource as a small business owner, among other things: front desk duties, graphic design, finances, customer support, back office, okay? And I also gave you a few common outsourcing mistakes that you want to avoid this year. Thank you so much. God bless you. I will see you next time. Until then, remember, stay marvelous.